Joined by Alan Mendoza, Russia watcher and exec director of the Henry Jackson Society, a think tank which works to advance democracy and human rights. Evening, Alan.
Good evening.
Tell us how this is being viewed on an international scale then, as we extend the story further across the globe.
Well, I think most people would take the President Biden view that it was entirely unsurprising that this sort of thing was expected, and that we knew that Prigozhin was living on borrowed time. So I think that's a sort of general feeling. Nobody is particularly surprised. Nobody thinks that it's anything other than a Putin assassination job. Other than, of course, a few people who've said quite rightly, look, we don't know the final body count as such, and he's cheated death before. But either way, it looks pretty bad from the perspective of it's a Putin hit job, and everyone, I think, around the world understands it as such.
What do we know about the other mercenary units operating under Russia?
Well, there are lots of other sort of different bands, if you like, that have come together under the Russian flag. The Chechens, the most obvious example, run by Ramzan Kadyrov, the warlord down there, who has been loyal to Moscow in the past. However, his loyalty, as always, is only in his own interest. So were that equation to shift, you don't know what the Chechens might do. There are, kind of other different groupings as well who have appeared on and off in Norway. But nobody had, if you like, the power and mystique that Wagner had managed to achieve in its relatively short lifespan. And now that Prigozhin and his deputy appear to have gone, it's entirely unclear what will happen next to that particular unit, which has played such a role in the war so far.
One of our listeners has been in touch, and absolutely open for your questions, by the way, tonight, folks. It's always good to get different thoughts and views on this. Susie's been in touch and said, I'm riveted by Putin praising Prigozhin for his efforts over the last few months. What? She says, including his march on Moscow. What did you make of the address earlier by Putin?
Well, I don't think he was thinking of the march on Moscow. That's not clear what he was referring to. But look, this is standard tactics, isn't it? I bumped off my enemy. Everyone knows it was me. But I'm going to say nice things at his funeral, essentially, or in advance of his funeral, and highlight the good parts before he went bad. And I think, that's clearly what the narrative from Moscow is going to be. It's going to be terrible accident. Don't know how this happened. But the work he did before this accident, and let's forget about the summer incident, but everything the 10 years beforehand were tremendously useful for Russia. And this was a patriot, and, they'll bury him with full honours, etc., all the rest of it.
Well, look, thank you so much for speaking to us. Always appreciated. Alan Mendoza follows the story, not just the war, but also Russia and other states like that, where there's lots of security issues. He's always got his ear very closely to the ground. Alan Mendoza, exec director of the Henry Jackson Society. Thank you. Good to speak to you.